I want to layer these two on top of each other. Okay, let me see if I can find us. There we go. Okay, so I think I'm going to use these two ribbons together. I think. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm set on it, y'all. Okay, so I only have two of these picks. Two of these stems, and for me, I love geraniums. These are one of my favorites. This is 62695 SP28. So I only have two of these geranium picks. So I want one up here and I want one down here. You know, kind of taking it back to old, I mean, I don't want to call it old school, but that's the way I used to design wreaths. Something at the top, something at the bottom. I still do design that. If you see some of my moss-based wreaths, it's the same concept. Something at the top, something at the bottom. Good morning, y'all. Okay, so we are going to have to split these into two pieces. And that's okay, y'all. It's okay to cut some stems off. So right here we've got this piece and we've got another piece on the bottom. I'm going to make that into two pieces because I need this to kind of hang down like this on this top part. And then this up on the top part, just like that. So something just like that is what I have an idea with. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to cut this one apart. So I'm just fluffing out our greenery, our stem here. Now it's really important that I just did that, but I want to make sure that I also use my other greenery. So we're not going to stick these in until I've greened up some of the base. But these are already cut, so that's good to, these are good to go. So we're going to put these off to the side, and I'm going to come in with this greenery right here. So y'all, look at this greenery. Like, this is double the size of this wreath. So I don't need it that long, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. But we're going to just cut it up into smaller filler pieces. Okay. Cut that up. I'm going to cut that one up. That one up, and then we're going to cut this one up. So that one piece, I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces out of that. Hey Charlotte. And then on this one, we're going to do the same thing. Okay. We're just going to cut this up into some smaller pieces. Like this. These are about the same size. So we've got those, and we've got all of this right here. Off of that one, those two little pieces, y'all, that I cut off of there. Or was it 3? I can't remember. I think, was it 3 or 2? So we've got a lot of greenery. Now on this grapevine, Like I said, I want something up here and I want something down here. So we're going to start gluing these in. Remember, I said I wanted something up at the top, something down here at the bottom. So I'm going to start making that design. Tarina's watching us while she works. She doesn't have it on full blast because I totally just busted. Boss is gonna bust her. So there we go. Y'all, geraniums, I love geraniums, and I specifically love red geraniums. Red geraniums are my favorite. And it can't be like a hybrid red, it's gotta be like red. Like fire engine. Okay, so we've greened that up there at the top. And now we're going to green some right down here at the bottom. Oh, the boss was in the room, y'all. The boss was in the room. Well, since the boss is in the room, Tarina, I'm pretty sure. I think you're up for a raise. Okay, you're definitely up for a raise, friend. And a 2-week paid vacation to the Bahamas. Okay. Right, so, you know, I think Tarina gets a raise, 2-week paid vacation to the Bahamas, all inclusive, you know. Y'all, to me, I've not had a problem with the Deco grapevines. That's the only place I buy my grapevines at. So if you're always looking for grapevines, Shop Like Jordan, which is my affiliate with DecoExchange, is the place where I get all of my grapevines from. That's where I get all of my grapevines from. Okay, so you'll see I kept a little bit off to the side because I might need this as filler. So I'm gonna keep this just in case I need it. But yeah, you see I have something, we have drawing interest up here and drawing interest right down here. So this next part, I want to make sure that I layer these in correctly because I want to make sure that these are the star of the show, y'all. I want to make sure that we can see those bright red geraniums. And you know, on this piece right here, this one's too long. So you can always fold it back if you want to, like I just did. That way it's up against the florals, just like this. I am going to zip tie that together because I don't have any floral tape. So if you had floral tape, you could definitely wrap that, but I'm just going to zip tie it, y'all. It's a little easier. Do I ever have a problem with downward florals coming out or loose? No, I've never had that problem. And the trick to that, y'all, I'm zip tying these in, is when you're putting your florals into your grapevine. Like this is the grapevine, right? So this is your grapevine. You're not going to stick that right into that grapevine. Okay, so let's just say that that's the grapevine. You're gonna want to go into your stems, into the shape of the grapevine. Okay, so that way it kind of nestles in there. It doesn't poke out through the back, but there's glue and it stays. And that way it doesn't come out when you're hanging it. I need to throw that in the trash. Hopefully that made sense. So you always want to make sure that you secure that into the wreath that way. Doing the same thing here, moving that greenery around. So if this piece right here is just too long, I am going to trim that off. And like y'all, if you've seen me before, you know that I love, of course, more for me is more. More is more. I always want all the greenery, I want all the florals, I want all of the glitz and the glamour and the glitter and all that. But sometimes, y'all, I like simple designs just like this. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna just stick that right in there. We're gonna get another zip tie, and we're gonna zip tie that to that greenery, that grapevine base. Renee says she doesn't like geraniums, but she loves their leaves almost like pumpkin leaves. Yes, I definitely love those. There was an ivy that I'm pretty sure we sold it out at Deco, but it had, I can get it. It was a fall one. It was really pretty. You would have loved this one. I can't remember if this was a coleus or if it was a geranium. But y'all, look how pretty these leaves are. And they're a nice muted fall color. So I really like it. And I did buy a lot of these. I bought like 10 of them. Because I'm like, you know what? I can probably use them outside for my planters. So we added that piece of greenery in. Remember, I still had some of these left over. So I have these as an available option to draw some more interest in if I wanted to. So that's what we have so far. Let me just zoom out just a little bit so y'all can see the full wreath. So we're coming in, we're gonna add some more of this greenery. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I want this down here as well, just to draw some more interest in. I've got to let that dry just a tad. There we go. Yo, I live in West Texas, and coleus only does really well if it's under the porch and there's shade. So I try and steer away from using coleus in my plantings. But I love petunias, y'all. I know there are some people that don't like petunias. I love petunias. And I really love the Calibracoa, the little baby ones. I really like those as well. Oh, hello, Gal versus Glue Gun. How are you, friend? So I made sure that this tail was extra long, y'all. Just because I want to make sure it weaves, I can weave it through all that greenery, but we're going to make a bow. So 10-inch loop, pinch and twist. A 8-inch loop, and you'll see why I did this. Okay. Pinch and twist. So we did 10, 8. Y'all are thinking, what in the world? Why did he make that tail smaller? That loop smaller? And then a 12-inch loop. I'm going to just make tail. So I like to buy stuff from the clearance bin at Lowe's when I go. And I already had a basket full the other day, and I was like, oh, let me see what they have in clearance. I should have gone to the clearance section first. I was like, well, dang. So we're going to come in with our bow right here. So we did that 10-inch loop first, and then we did an 8-inch loop, and then we did a 12-inch. Y'all are probably thinking, what in the world? Why did he do so many different sizes? There's a method to my madness, y'all. There's a method to my madness. I'm going to draw this one a little bit closer in. Manipulate that greenery. So where's my short tail? There it is. So here is my short tail. I found some marigolds and some vincas on clearance, so that's what I want on the clearance. Yo, and they had this really pretty hanging basket I wish I could have found two, but I didn't. They had a it was a hanging basket with geraniums and some vine coming down through it. I was like, oh, this is pretty. I need two of these, and they only had one, but it's okay. So we made those loops different sizes because I didn't want a big full bow. I just wanted to add some interest with that ribbon coming through. So that's why I did the bow loops differently. Now this one will be a 210 and 211. Y'all, so I actually bought a wreath from, she's here in the comments, Gal versus Glue Gun, and a mama made her nest in it, and she sadly left the nest. So she sadly left that nest and went and made another nest in the yard somewhere. And I was like, you already had this nest, friend, and you didn't make another one. Y'all, all the clearance plants need is just a little TLC, a little love. That's all it needs. That's all they need. You know, one year that's all we bought. It was, what was it, 2020? Y'all know, of course, 2020 was a different year for everybody. We were adjusting to things, and things weren't really open. But when they started opening, people still weren't going out to stores, so we snagged a lot of stuff on clearance. Petunias, hanging baskets. My mom was like supermarket sweep in the clearance section, you know, because they were like 50 cents, $1, and you know, all they needed was just a little bit of love. So that was the year. I went back and I looked at pictures. I was like, that was the year the porch looked the best. I feel, because I always decorate the porch for 4th of July, so I always start planting stuff in May and June, so by the time July comes, it's really nice and pretty and lush. I was like, man, 2020 was a good year for plants for me. These deco scissors are amazing. So now I'm going to come in with some other greenery. This is 82405. And we're just going to add a little bit of this here and there. We're not going to add a lot. Actually, we'll probably end up using only the outer pieces, which have this smaller greenery versus this fern greenery. Or you know what, we might just do all of it. Right, y'all? What the heck? Let's just do all of it. There's no sense in keeping 3 pieces. there's a piece here missing some, and I have them right here. There we go. I think Megan liked this one from Gal vs. Glue Gun. Oh, I like that because it's wired. I didn't realize it was wired. So gluing that into that grapevine, just adding a different texture. Putting some of this greenery right into that bow. That's what I love, to make sure that I don't miss that bow, because bow is a very important part of the wreath, but I don't want it to stick out like a sore thumb, y'all. That's what I don't want. I don't want it to stick out like unfinished, like you forgot me, hello. No, I want to make sure that I add that into that bow. The SKU on this greenery was 82405. Trying to decide if I want this right here, or if I want it. Oh no, I already have a piece there, so that answered the question. Okay, so y'all, this is our wreath. Let me just glue this little piece in somewhere. Just don't want it to go to waste. Go. Okay, so there's our wreath, y'all. Really pretty geranium wreath. The size of the grapevine, I believe, was a 14-inch oval grapevine. I get all of my grapevines from shoplikejordan.com. That's the place where I've found the best grapevines. And I'm not saying that just because I work with them. work for them, but they really are some of the best grapevines out there, y'all. So we started out with that 14-inch base. We kind of measured out where I wanted the geraniums, because I only had 2 stems of geraniums. Y'all, that was all I had. I only had the 2 stems of the geraniums. We cut those up because I needed to make them a little bit more compact. Then we went in with that variegated ivy, and we greened up our base up here at the top, greened up our base down here at the bottom, making this wreath definitely larger looking. Once we added that greenery down, then we added in our geraniums, then we made our bow, our little bows right here. So I made this one, then I made this one up here, and then we just came in with that fern greenery, and we added it in just to really fill in a few spots here and there. But y'all, this is really pretty. You can still see some of the grapevine, one part right here and part right here. That's what I do love. I love designing something like this because I love to see that natural grapevine. Okay. Shoplikejordan.com. That's where I get all of my grapevines. Okay. So y'all, that's all I have for y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. Quick 30-minute just hangout today, which is not bad, but we ended up making a really pretty geranium design. So y'all, like I said, thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see y'all next week. Okay.